Just as a disclaimer, we want you to know that some of the movies that we will be reviewing were shot in a different time and era where people of race and sex were not treated equally. We understand this and hope you do too. The movies or anything that happened on the sets are not the views of this podcast or what this show is intended to be all about.
Exactly. And we want to give due diligence in presenting the movie and not the views of the cast or directors or anyone involved. But we also feel it's necessary to let the audience know some of the background information to get a feel for what was happening at the time of shooting the film. Again, we hope you understand that we do not agree with everything that went on, and we just want to give out the information. And with that being said, hope you enjoy the show.
During holiday travel, some people get delirious. Some get delayed. And some get Del Griffin.
American Light and Fixture, Director of Sales, Shower Curtain Ring Division.
Neil Page got all three.
I was on my way home to spend a nice holiday with my family. Instead, I'm in a motel bed with a stranger.
So instead of Thanksgiving with his family, he's spending 3 days with the turkey.
Two happy clams just whistling down the road.
Flintstones, meet the Flintstones, they're the Marconi family.
Paramount Pictures presents
Wilma!
Steve Martin,
You ever been to Hawaii?
Yeah.
You see Don Ho while you were there?
See the second show, that's the best one.
Is that right?
Yeah.
John Candy,
Why are you holding my hand? Where's your other hand? Between two pillows. Those aren't pillows.
in a new film by John Hughes. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
All right, guys, welcome back to the Tragedy of Cinema, episode 34. And by the way, happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
This will be a special Thanksgiving Day episode where we'll be discussing the famous planes, trains, and automobiles. I'm your host, Jimbo, and alongside with me, as always, is the incomparable
Terrence.
And we have a special guest. I was going to say referee, but that's not right. We have a special guest in the studio with us. You may recognize him from when the episode Hoosiers. We have my good friend, childhood friend, Mr. Eric.
How you doing?
Cummings back in the studio.
Good to be with you guys.
It's good to have you back. Yeah, you've been I was going to say a lifelong fan of the podcast, but
Right, exactly.
the life of the podcast. So before we start, you know what time it is.
Do it.
Let's do the question. Terrence and Eric. So I'll let you go first on this one, then Eric can go first on the second one.
All right.
Terrence, since this stars John Candy and Steve Martin, I want you to give me your favorite movie of John Candy and Steve Martin.
Spaceballs, Pink Panther.
This guy, he was ready.
Quick.
Yeah, he was ready. All
Wow.
right, Eric. You got
I'm a huge fan of both of those actors.
They are so good.
They are great.
Man.
I'm going to say Uncle Buck has got to be up there, maybe for John Candy and Steve Martin. Can't go wrong with The Jerk. That's a really
All right.
good.
I was going to say I love Delirious, where he thinks he's in the soap opera. You know?
Oh, yeah,
He's
that
in
was great.
And for John Candy, and then probably Father of the Bride for Steve Martin.
Yeah.
I think it was really good.
It was great.
Yeah.
Right there, 6 movies.
All good choices.
Now, Eric, we're going to flip the script.
Okay.
Which prop would you like to keep from this movie, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles? If you could keep one prop.
One prop. Probably the car.
The
Car that gets burned
after it's burnt
crisp.
to a crisp.
That was hilarious. It was funny because I was thinking of the burnt credit cards.
Oh, yeah.
Or like the burnt wall.
I would probably go with the chest. You know, the chest
Oh,
that John
yeah, that
Candy
would
looks
probably
around
be the
this
best
movie.
one, yeah,
right.
the chest.
Yeah, so All right, well, you guys know the routine. Let's get started. Terrence, take it away.
All right, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Release date November 25th, 1987. Its budget was $30 million. If you were looking at inflation, and today that would be $66.9 million. Its opening weekend USA was $7 million. We're looking at $15.6 million in today's money. Gross USA, $49.5 million, and that is $110.4 million today.
The inflations that we do on these movies
It's double.
incredible.
From 1987 to now,
really
it's
is.
double, and that wasn't that long ago.
But
That's
has
crazy.
your wages doubled is what I'm asking.
Sure.
So one of these things is not like the other.
Right. This movie was directed by the John Hughes, also known for, we covered one of his movies, which was Breakfast Club, and he also did Home Alone, Christmas Vacation. Responsible for a lot of really funny movies. Technical specs, runtime, 1 hour and 33 minutes, so your average movie length. Sound mix, Dolby Stereo. This is movies in color. Aspect ratio is 1.85 by 1. The camera they used was a Panavision Panaflex. The lavatory where the film was edited was Technicolor Hollywood, USA. Negative format, 35 millimeters, as usual. Cinematographic process, spherical, and printed film format, 35 millimeter. And now for the awards. There's only one. American Comedy Awards, USA, 1988. They were nominated for American Comedy Award, and that is funniest actor in a motion picture leading role, John Candy.
Hilarious.
John Candy's great. Wish he was still around.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Too
think
soon.
I was gonna say, can you? I would have loved to see him and Chris Farley team up in a movie, like Step
man.
Brothers. Can you imagine Step Brothers the movie with them two in it?
With John Candy and Chris Farley.
Can you imagine?
Laughing just thinking about it.
I know.
That's great. All right, so now the synopsis. A man to make it home. A man trying to get home. Make it. Oh my gosh, I'm butchering this already. A man trying to make it home for Thanksgiving winds up traveling with shower curtain ring salesman.
I mean, it's funny.
It's great.
Usually I do the cast, but I'm going to have Eric go ahead and take care of the cast. That way, if he wants to Terrence a couple of the names, he can.
Oh, well, I'll try my best.
To Terrence.
The cast starts off, of course, with Steve Martin as Neil Page, John Candy as Del Griffith.
Let's throw in some fun facts about
Yeah.
Okay.
who else.
Who else was going to...
I'm sorry. Also considered for the role of Neil Page was Tom Hanks, and then also Rick Moranis from
I think Rick Moranis would be
Honey, I
great.
Shrunk the Kids fame,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And Little Shop of Horrors.
Yeah.
He would have been great.
John Travolta was considered for the role of Del Griffith. Now, I don't know that works so well, but
Glad they went with John Candy.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't even see how John Travolta... I don't even know if I've seen him in a comedy.
very rarely.
Exactly.
Maybe.
That's
Maybe Pulp Fiction? Do you consider that comedy?
Layla Robbins as Susan Page, Michael McKean as the state trooper, Kevin Bacon, well-known Kevin Bacon as the taxi racer.
6 Degrees of Bacon right there.
Right,
I know,
exactly.
right?
Dylan Baker as Owen. Owen steals the movie in his scene. He's great in that scene out in front of the hotel. Luli Newcomb as Owen's wife. Olivia Burnett as Marty Page. Larry Hankin as Doobie. Richard Hurd as Walt. Matthew Lawrence as Neil Page Jr. Edie McClurg as car rental agent. And Bill Irwin as Man on Plane. That's all it says. Ben Stein as the Wichita Airport representative. Ben Stein, he's seen a lot of things.
Oh, yeah.
Diana Dill as Peg. And Charles Tyner as Gus Mooney, the original hotel clerk. And then Martin Ferrero, as the second motel clerk.
Right. So now we're going to jump into some of the fun stuff. John Candy and Steve Martin both said that this is their favorite film that they've ever done.
Wow.
Each individually said, "Hey, what's your favorite film?" They said, "Planes, Trains." What's your favorite film? Planes, Trains. I thought that was really interesting because them guys have a lot of cinema between them.
a lot of stuff under the belt.
John Hughes, he wrote the first draft of this screenplay in just 3 days. And this is something he's known for.
Yeah,
He just sits down and he's like, let me just
scripts out of
scribble
nowhere.
something down. You know what I mean? And the stuff that he puts out in the short amount of time. And then, but the good thing about him is he always let people ad lib or improvise as they're
Yeah.
going along too. So I think that helps the situation. But he has a direction he wants to go with the movie, and they follow it. So this movie is, to me, it's about family. It's a comedy. I hadn't seen it in a long time, so I sat down and watched it. Actually, I watched it twice because the first time I was just blown away at how funny it was. And then, the ending of the film, man, I was just like, it got me.
Yeah,
and I was
it's a
like,
good story.
yeah, and I wasn't expecting it because it's been so long. And
Yeah.
I was like, man, what? There's onions being cut here or something. But we'll get to it. So this starts off, Steve Martin's in his working late. He's got a flight he's got to catch to get back to his wife. He's called her. He says, I told her I'd be on by 9. The thing I thought was pretty cool is that when they show his ticket, it all goes dark except his departure time. It's
Yeah.
like 6 o'clock. He's like, I got to get out of here. And that guy, the boss, is just sitting there at the table looking at these pictures. And you're just like, come on. They're like, just
the whole
pick one
time,
already.
I like in that scene how he just constantly looks like he's going to talk.
Yeah, and he's like,
just-
and then he stops.
He's just like making these mouth motions of like he's going to talk, but instead he's just like,
And they're all on the edge of their seat, like,
Yeah.
ah. And so then, nothing comes of it. And Steve Martin's like, I can't believe we sat there for what, 8 hours or whatever it was. And he's like,
just sitting
and he
there.
didn't say anything, and he still hasn't made up his mind or whatever. He's like, I gotta catch a cab. I gotta get to the airport. He's like, yeah, we're good luck gonna catch that. He's like, you just should stay at my house. He's like, nah, I gotta make it. So then we come out to the, hey, taxi. And this is where it all starts falling apart for the guy.
Real quick before you move away from that
yeah.
scene, I have a trivia question for you.
For me?
His co-worker on Madison Avenue was in another famous John
yes.
Hughes movie. Do you remember what it was? He played the father. in
Yes,
another
I was
John
gonna say
Hughes
Home
movie.
Alone.
Not Home Alone.
Are you sure?
I'm sure. Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
That was the other. I had that in
The
here.
actor's name was Lyman Ward.
I had that in here where it was him. Somebody. There was 3 people in Ferris Bueller's Day Off. I do believe.
Yeah,
You see my notes. It's in here somewhere.
He used a lot of the same actors.
Right.
It seems like we're noticing as he moves through other movies. I thought
Well,
that was
it's-
pretty
that's
interesting.
pretty common for directors to, if they have a pleasant experience working with an actor, work with them again.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, one of the most notable ones is Quentin Tarantino, Samuel L. Jackson.
Sure.
So many movies that they both, he directed and then Samuel L. Jackson was in. But yeah, it happens all the time. I mean,
Yeah, I
if
thought
you
that
work
was-
with somebody who you work really well with, you want to work with them
Right.
again.
I thought that was interesting. I was like, I know that guy from another.
Oh yeah.
something.
Well, I see a lot of them. Like I knew a lot of these people. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about another one that's probably in a lot of movies that people don't realize, but also what's her name? Dylan Baker, John Candy, and Susan Ice were all reunited in Delirious too in 1991. So there you go. You see that again, the connections. So now he's trying to get a taxi cab. And this is like in the middle of rush hour. Everybody's trying to get home. It's the day before Thanksgiving or whatever. And next thing you see taxi, and it stops. And then you see, and you look over, and there stands Kevin Bacon, man. And he looks at him, and he zooms in on his eyes, and Kevin Bacon just kind of gives him that, look, and he gives him that little smile. And they take off running, tripping over stuff, falling over stuff. Just when you think, Steve Martin's like, aha, I've got it. And then he ends up slipping and falling or whatever. And so Kevin Bacon gets on anyway, so he bye, And so then you have the famous scene where he goes to offer the guy money for his taxi. He's like,
Oh, yeah.
He's like, come on, I'm just trying to get home to my family. Would $10, can I give you $10? He's like, no. He's like, but a man that can pay $10 could surely give up $50 for the gas.
He's like, if a man willing to pay 50, or a
10.
man willing to pay 50 will also be willing to pay 75. And he goes, what are you, heartless? He's like, close. I'm a lawyer.
Right. And he's like, but in the meantime, the taxi driver's like, come on, let's go. But he's put this other luggage in there, right?
Yeah.
And it takes off while they're still arguing about it. But he's like, thanks, this is what money well spent. And just when Steve Martin's getting ready to put in his stuff into the thing, it takes off. He starts running out, hey, that's my taxi. He gets up there and he looks in the
Yeah.
window, and it's John Candy sitting in there.
Yeah.
And then it just takes off. And you see Steve Martin just losing it. So we'll go ahead and jump up to the airport.
The first mode of transportation.
This
I know you.
This-
You're the guy who tried to steal my cab.
yeah, he's sitting there, he goes up to the desk or whatever, and then he's sitting there and he's looking at the guy, and he's like, I know you, don't I? John Candy just playing it normally, like, I know you, don't I?
He's like, I forget names, but I never forget a face.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, you stole my cab earlier. He goes, oh, you're the guy that tried to get my cab. I was like, the way he's playing on it.
Stole it. I've never stolen anything in my life.
John Candy is just so perfect in this movie, man. I miss him a lot. So
Delivery of his lines is great.
Right, and they end up boarding his plane. And so Steve Martin, he's already had this trouble trying to get there, and now he goes to get a seat, which he's like, I had first class, and the flight attendant's like, sorry, sir, you've been bumped to,
coach or whatever,
right?
Business class.
He's like, and then this other guy just pops up. He's like, hey, Martha, or whatever. He's like, where am I sitting? She's like, pick anywhere you want. And I was like, man, Steve Martin's just like, really? He's like, how can this possibly get any worse? And the next thing he's like, howdy, partner. It's John Candy. And you're like, oh, no.
I like the part where John Zani is just like, I tend to be a jabberjaw, but if I do talk too much, just let me know. He's like, nothing's more annoying than somebody who doesn't know how to shut up.
And he just keeps going. So Steve Martin is now sandwiched in between this old guy to his right and John Candy on his left, and the old guy, you see a little bit later, the old guy just falls asleep on Steve Martin's shoulder.
Oh yeah, and then
do you know who the old guy was?
No, I don't.
Eric, do you know who it is? No, but do you know what else he played in?
Oh man, I know he's a character actor in a lot of movies.
Bill Irwin, he plays the old man sleeping on the shoulder in the plane scene. Also appeared in Home Alone.
Oh,
and She's Having a Baby in 1988.
Okay.
So I will say Del Griffith does the worst thing. It's a huge pet peeve because I've flown a lot. Yes. He took off the shoes.
That's what made it so
He
weird.
always takes off
shoes. I was like, oh no.
But that's the thing about the whole movie.
Further, he takes off his socks. I was like, yeah.
My dogs are barking.
Yeah. That's what I was like. His dogs were barking. I was like, oh man. So he goes. What's he say? He's like, I'll bet my right nut and $60 that we don't make it to Chicago tonight. And next thing you see O'Hara, Chicago O'Hara. It's like cancel, just the board. And so they land and they're in Wichita. Wichita. I was like, so he calls his wife, and he's like. She's like, where are you? I thought you'd be home. He's like, yeah. He's like, we're in Wichita. She's like, Wichita?
What are you doing in Wichita?
Yeah. So, long story short, he's like, so he starts calling the hotel rooms and stuff. And, no, sir, we don't have anything. You're not going to get anything. Blah. And so then you see John Candy, and he's like, hey, did you find a room? He's like, nah. He's like, everywhere I tried to call out, he's like, oh, I got one. He's like, well, how'd you possibly get one? He said, well, instead of you calling home, I called the hotel and got a room.
I know a guy.
He's like, I know a guy.
Yeah,
I showed some shower rings too. I can get you a room if you want. If you pay for the taxi fare, I can get you a room or whatever. So, is this the scene where that taxi cab pulls up and it's that guy and he's
like the dude with the
hydraulics.
Yeah, neon lights all over and everything.
Car,
and
takes him the back
roads. Yeah, he's like, where are we at? How much further is it? He's like, it's just a little ways or whatever.
He's like the highway's really boring. There's nothing to see, so I thought I'd take you through town.
And I was like, man, is he gonna kill him or something? Just
honestly, I thought he was just trying to drive up the cab fare.
Well, that too. I mean, it's
that's happened before. When I was in Gulfport, Mississippi for training when I was in the military, we all just got out of a bar, me and a couple of friends, and one particular guy he really wanted to get back to the base because he wasn't feeling well. So he took a cab, went off, and we took a cab shortly after. Our cab showed up. And we got there before he did, but wait a minute, he left first. So then we waited for him. We had a real cool cab guy. He was kind of like this hippie dude. He's like, how's it going, guys? So we wait for the other cab. The other cab pops up. And then our cabbie helped fix the fare because clearly he took advantage of our drunk friend and took him the long way. And he was like, why'd you take him the long way? This way was completely viable. Completely ripped into him. But yeah, so that's why when I saw this scene, I immediately thought, oh, he's just trying to drive up the cab fare because he sees that they're not from the area. Right. So he's like, all right, well, I'm going to take him the long way and I'm going to get some money out of these city slickers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just like the line he says, He's proud of his where he's from, or he's proud of his hometown. He goes, "It's 2 in the morning.
It's dark. What are we gonna see?" Something I skipped over: the airport scene in Wichita when the airplane announces that the flight has been canceled. The board behind him is that the destination of the flight is nowhere. So I thought that was pretty funny. So now they're coming to the. Is this the? What's the name of this hotel? Is it the? I forget what he called him. But anyway,
Gus is the clerk.
yeah,
He is the front desk clerk.
Did you notice though that when he walks in that he's got the shower curtain rings hanging up for like the curtains too?
Yeah.
I was like, he's like, "Hey Gus."
So this movie shows so many different applications of shower rings.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Well, also at the beginning, I forgot to say that in the when they put the they steal the taxi or whatever.
Yeah.
You see a couple of shower rings laying on the ground too, so you
Oh, yeah.
you knew it was him
wow,
all
you
along, right?
Picked up on that, yeah.
Yeah. So this is probably my favorite scene because
The one bed scene?
Yeah. Because he's like this is. I think this is where they get their cards mixed up too. Because did you happen to hear what Gus tells him? He goes, "Yeah." He's like, "I can get your room." He's like, "But I'll have to charge you double." Split the bill, or so it comes up to the same price. So they take these. They have the exact same Diamond Plus card or whatever, and Steve Martin puts it in, and the guy slides it, and he sets it down in front, and he takes John Candy's and slides it, puts it down, and I think they reach over and they grab the wrong one,
they grab the
which
wrong
he gets accused of stealing later. You know what I mean? So they get to he's like, "Oh, we only have one room." They're like, "Oh, well, okay." So they open up the room, and Steve Martin looks, and it's just that one bed. His face,
classic.
His face was like. Then they just start making small talk.
Yeah.
And then John Candy just breaks it. He's like, "Hey, you want to take a shower?" He's like, "Oh, no, I didn't mean like that." He's like, "I'm just saying, do you want to go first to take a shower?" And he's like, yeah, okay. So, you see Steve Martin in there in the shower. He's getting all lathered up. And
this is after Dell has Dell used it. And then so Neil goes to take a shower. And then the water just shuts off.
Right. As he's all lathered up. And, and then he finally gets it back on. And, he looks over for a towel.
Being hot, just
he looks for a towel, and the only thing left.
That was later on.
It's the same scene.
Is it the same scene? No, that was when they were leaving the hotel.
No, that's when his underwear and stuff's in the thing. I'm talking about when Steve Martin when it stops on him.
The scenes messed
right
up.
when he's got all the stuff on him, he's looking for something to dry off, and the only thing left is that little tiny washcloth
that's
or whatever.
A comedic classic scene.
Oh,
He
yeah.
dries his back with a washcloth. That is.
Have you guys been there?
Been where?
I've been there. Like having to use a tiny.
Oh
like,
yeah.
Or there's no towel at all, and you got to run to get one.
Yeah.
You got a little footprint.
Because I've done that to myself. Where like my wife was like, "Do we have enough towels for us both to have towels? Do we need to do laundry?" I'm like, "I think
Terrence has
we both
got
have
some
towels."
bounty quicker things.
So then it's like she used the towel, and I was like, all right, cool. I'm looking through the laundry. I'm like, oh crap, all that's left is like a rag. So then I get done showering. I'm just like, this isn't enough. I'm a big guy.
But while Steve Martin's in there, getting all lathered up, and then John Candy's sitting on the bed, and he's got to put the quarter in the bed. He's like, hey, and all that.
Put the beers on the vibrating bed.
Yeah.
They get all shaken up.
So then you see them laying in bed next to each other, and I haven't laughed this hard at a scene in a long time because once they fall asleep and they wake up. And it's the morning time, there's some interaction that happens before that, talking about why'd you spill it on the bed, blah, blah, blah. But we'll skip over that just to save some time. But when they wake up, John Candy, you pan across, you got John Candy, and he is like bear hugging Steve Martin from behind. And he leans over and he kisses him on the cheek. And Steve Martin goes, "Why'd you kiss me?"
And he goes, and the song playing on the clock radio, back in baby's arms.
Yeah. And he goes,
and
Steve Martin goes, "Why are you holding my hand?" And he goes, Steve Martin goes, "Well, where's your other hand?" He's like, "Oh, it's in between two pillows." Next thing you see, Steve Martin's eye, "Those aren't pillows!" And jump out of bed. They're like, "Hey, how about them Bears?" I think they're gonna go real far this year. I'm just dying.
Scene.
Oh man, I think that might be one of the best scenes of the movie. But in Dell and Neil's room at the Braidwood Inn, above the bed, you can see two perfect handprints on either side of the frame picture wall, of the picture on the wall.
That's That's hilarious.
Oh man, that's great stuff. Great stuff. I think that's all on that page.
Hotel rooms.
So many pages here. The owner of the former Braidwood Inn featured in this film, now called the Sun Motel, was arrested in March 2019 on charges of promoting prostitution on the premises. The motel has also recently been the site of 2 drug overdose related deaths. But I don't know, I don't want to say that because I don't know if that was this hotel or if this is the hotel that they go with the car. Remember, because there's 2 different hotels.
When they crash into the side of
Right? Yeah, that is hilarious.
Sorry, I'm jumping ahead.
No, that's okay. But if I say something about a hotel scene, don't judge me because I'm trying to distinguish between the 2. So
Yeah.
I want to throw that out there in case this was. I forgot to write down which
We'll
one
throw
was
that
which.
again later.
Yeah. Oh man, this is the other thing about the aircraft. The exterior of the aircraft in flight when they were in the air is a reuse of the 707 flying through the storm from the movie Airplane in 1980 by Paramount Pictures.
Another classic.
Oh man, we gotta do that one soon too. Let's see. Make sure you can talk about something while I'm going through here.
Well, I'll just go back to the scene where they're in the first hotel, and the touching scene, the emotional scene where he's just going on. Neil's just going off on Dell about how annoying he is, and John Candy's face in that moment.
But is that
where
this
he
one or is that the second
No, that's
one?
this one.
the first
That's
one.
the
and
first one.
where they're
It happens very early
after
on.
the bed incident and all that stuff, and he's
starts
getting
making all the
dressed and he's
snoring
about to
sounds, I
leave
think.
and he's going to go sleep in the lobby.
But
It might have
before-
been the second one, but
But
it was
before,
the first-
before you,
most
but
definitely
before
the first
that,
one.
I think what we're missing is when John Candy does that. I think he pulls out that picture of his wife.
yes,
He does, yeah.
And I think that's a very
And
important
that-
part of the movie that you need to
absolutely.
know. And
Yeah.
and he's like, because this is where John Candy, when he's getting all the, and Steve Martin's just yelling at him. He's like, look, he's like,
I
at
like
least-
me.
I like
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
I'm me. And he's like, I haven't. And I think he's like, I haven't been home in 7 years.
Right.
Several
You
years.
start to get
No, I
it.
think it's 7 or 8 years. It's
Oh, no,
7
he
years.
just says several.
Yeah.
Right, you start to get to
You're-
see
you're like-
behind
you're
the
like-
scenes of, and he sets it up, and his facial expression was just
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
awesome. Like
Yeah, it
acting
shows the
in that
amazing-
moment and the emotion
Yeah.
and how long he's been away and all the baggage that he's carried,
Right.
And that all that baggage.
But
is
you
a
don't know
symbol
what
of
that.
his emotional.
But you don't
baggage.
know what that baggage is
Right,
yet
you
until the
don't
end of the
know yet.
movie.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Great scene.
Yeah, and I was like, man, because Steve Martin is just ripping him up and down.
Oh,
He's like,
yeah.
you stole my cab, the plane, and I was just like, man, I'm starting to feel bad for the guy
yeah, you-
myself.
you
biggest
really-
thing was
really-
like, oh
Sorry,
my
go
bad.
ahead.
No, the biggest thing was like when he starts going into, he's like, your stories are about nothing. There's no, what is it? No context, or
Right.
it's like there's no point to your stories. He's like, I would rather sit do an insurance meeting, walk out with a smile on my face, and listen.
man.
And they'll be like, how do you do it? And he's like, I listen to Del Griffin. And I was like, dang,
just ripping the
man,
guy.
I know.
And it really goes to show you don't know what someone might be going through,
Right.
Behind the scenes.
That's why every person I meet in real life, I try to be nice to them because you never know what's gonna, what their personal life's going on.
Right. Good point. Good
Yeah.
point in the movie. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and it was very man. That I think that's set up perfectly for the end of the movie, especially when he looks at the picture of his wife.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, okay, this guy, Steve Martin, has called his wife.
Yep.
John Candy's first thought was, I got to get a hotel room. And that's when I started thinking,
Yeah.
something's not right. You know what I mean? So we'll get to it. So from here, where do we go? Is this where we go to get on the bus?
Yeah, after the hotel.
We hit the train.
Oh, the train, yeah. Because he knows a guy.
Knows a guy that can get him on the train.
That he showed sold some shower rings to. But I think they're not going to be in. They're going to be in separate compartments.
They thought they were parting ways.
They thought they were
at this
parting
point.
ways, yeah.
Yep.
They said their goodbyes, and he's like, "Hey, I need your address." And he's like, "Don't worry about it." And
Yeah,
he's
because
like,
I want to pay you back
yeah,
for.
yeah, yeah.
He's like,
He's like, really, don't worry about
Okay,
it.
so I want to come see you and whatever. And he's like, nah, don't worry about it. So Steve Martin finally thinks he's gotten rid of him, and they get on the train, and you see Steve Martin cozy up and fall asleep against the window. Not long after that, man, you see the smoke pop from the train, and it starts going down. But something funny about the train, if you can tell, my notes here are all over the place. The train used in the movie sits dormant at a small rural station in western New York town of Gowanda. The name that they made up was the Contract logos. It was Contract. It was a play on Conrails and Amtrak. So
They did that a lot, I think, in the movie with the car.
Right. They did it with all of it because
the rental car agency.
because they didn't. No company wanted to feel inferior that their product wasn't good enough.
Right.
Yeah.
But the logos are still present on the engine and the cars. It's remained unused since the making of this film.
Oh, wow.
So I thought that was pretty good. So the train blows up, and you see Steve Martin get off, and John Candy gets off, and they look at each other.
They're in a field in the middle of Kansas and have to hike back to the highway.
Yeah.
Well, this is actually an interesting scene because this is where you start seeing like Neil have a little heart, because at this point he's just kind of been very abrasive to Dell, and so because Dell's dragging
his thing. That's what I was going to say.
Trunk through the field, and then you see him like. He looks at him and he kind of you see him thinking about it, and you're like, yeah, you can see him like, okay, I should probably help him out. So then, and no words were exchanged. He just comes up and he picks up the trunk and they start walking.
Yep. So I think we get. Is this where we get to the
bus?
The bus. Is this where we're at?
Scene?
Yeah, this is the bus now.
So somehow Neil gets him on. He uses. Is this where he uses his card of whatever? Like he's like, oh no, something we didn't talk about is when they were asleep in the hotel.
Oh yeah, when they got robbed.
They got robbed. That lady picks the door and comes in, and they steal all the money from their wallets.
Yep.
And
then they have that scene in the diner where like, he accused Dell Neil
of stealing his money, and he's like, no, he's like, he's like, you stole $700 from my wallet. He's like, no, you could check my wallet. There's $236 or $63 in there.
Yeah, exactly.
And then he opens up. He's like, very funny.
Count
there
it.
is nothing. And he's like, very funny. He's like, we were robbed.
I think so.
So, did it ever say how they paid for that bill?
No.
I think Neil still had his credit
The
card.
Diamond Plus or something.
that's
The
what
kid
it
just
is,
stole the cash out of both wallets. I
Right.
believe.
Yeah,
they talked about
well,
how he must have been like a small time
well,
thief because he only took the cash and not the
Right.
card.
Well, they
Exactly,
said,
yeah, that was
well,
one.
no, they took his MasterCards, didn't they? Because they said, well,
No.
what do you have left? He says, I have a Diamond Plus card to somewhere, like.
But they did specifically mention that he didn't take the credit
they did.
cards. Because they both had credit cards, and then like they had like awards cards.
Yeah, that's
like
what I was
different
thinking.
types of credit cards.
But
for,
I
like,
thought he
only
paid.
certain
I thought he paid for
locations.
that meal, or is this where he owes him more money for paying for his meal too? I think. But is this where he sells the shower rings to all the different people too? He's like, look, this one's signed by Daryl Strawberry. Remember?
That one's later. That's how they get. Is that how they get on the train?
Maybe at the bus station.
I know there's a whole.
I don't know if
that's
it's the
how
bus
they pay
station or
for
train
something.
station. Yeah, it's one of the two. And he's like, hey,
But, yeah,
this is
he
Daryl
just
Strawberry.
starts-
He's like, girls, they got him in their ears. He's like, hey, you could pass for 17, 18. They're like, pay their money.
We'll buy it. Yeah.
Yeah, so, and I'm thinking, here's something else that you'd never come across. He's been selling all these shower curtain rings for who knows how long. Where's his stock? I know it's in the trunk, but I mean, once he
he's
runs out,
supplying him,
right?
yeah.
Where's the rest of it?
Maybe he just gets more from his.
Or maybe he
supplier.
hasn't really sold as many as he said.
I mean, he had the cash.
Wow, you've really thought a lot about this.
Well, I'm just saying.
I totally skipped over that. That's
Well, I'm just saying.
I mean, maybe he's just like a gentleman who's immersed himself in work. Like he stocks up. He fills his
right
trunk
from a
full of
manufacturer,
product.
maybe.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
then he goes and sells out,
and then
All
he
right.
goes and sells. And once he's done,
or
he
maybe
goes
at his
back.
house. But he says, I don't have a house.
doesn't
I
have one.
Exactly. So that's why
I
I'm
mean, that's
thinking
kind of one of the main points is he's homeless.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
why he's
on the road salesman.
yeah.
Yeah.
on the road a lot. So they get on the bus, and this bus is just raucous. He's like, when's the last time you rode a bus? And there's this kid's running up and down the aisle. And he's like, well, let's start singing. So he's like, surely you got one. To Steve Martin, he starts singing the song nobody has heard
knows,
of.
Yeah.
And so John Candy's sitting there
Out of nowhere.
and he's like, Flintstones.
Meet the
And the whole bus just erupts into the thing. But the reason he did that, the Flintstones, it was John Candy's all-time favorite cartoon. I think that was pretty cool. So the bus, they get to, where does it take them to? Do you remember?
I don't remember where they go. at
It
that
doesn't
point.
get them all the way. I think it gets them to St. Louis, maybe.
I think.
I think it is in St. Louis. And this is where they get the second hotel? No. When does he get the car?
The,
Shortly after the
bus,
they get
right?
to the bus station, they
I think
that's when
that's when he gets the shower curtain, the stuff, sells the stuff to get the car,
and
right?
then after that, well, it wasn't for the car; it was just to make some money because they're sitting in the diner
And they're eating.
They're eating, and then that's when Neil goes. I think we would make it further if we like. He's like, you do really good
On your own,
like
because
on
he
your
sold all
own.
that
And I
stuff.
feel
He's like, you're a
I'm
great
just
salesman.
slowing
I'm dragging you down, right?
And so we should, travel solo, both of us, and then Dell's like, I can take a hint, kind of thing,
Right?
And you can kind of see him like kind of sad about it. So then he leaves, and that's when he goes to rent the car and.
Right.
That
So,
whole
but
thing
but
goes
before
down.
that, this is where Steve Martin he goes to rent the car. He gets the thing, and he's like, okay, you're in A41 or whatever, and he walks all the way out there, and he gets to A41 and looks, and it's empty.
Yeah.
And you remember, it's just empty. So it's snowing. He's like stepping in puddles. He drops his hat, remember, and it gets ran over.
Ran over by a
and
bus.
he walks all
They're
across the
all
airfield,
dirty.
and he gets up to this lady's on the phone talking about her Thanksgiving dinner, blah blah blah. I'll see you tomorrow, blah blah. And Steve Martin's just looking at her. She's looking at him. He's got like his ties disheveled, his shoes are missing or whatever. And he just looks at her. And this is where he goes on this tirade. This is the reason this movie was rated R, I do believe.
Yep. F-bombs galore.
He drops 18 F-bombs in, I think it's 1 minute. Yeah, it's 1 minute at the Marathon car rental scene. Exactly 1 minute long for his tirade until the end of the scene. And it's used 18 times. They said it would have easily been rated PG or PG-13 if the MPAA if it weren't for this scene. So,
and I heard him on an interview. I watched on YouTube an interview at the time with David Letterman, and he's like, well, this isn't exactly a family-friendly holiday film. It is rated R, and he goes on to explain why, what you just described, the gratuitous use of the F word in that one particular scene.
yeah. And I had a thing that, here it is. Steve Martin was convinced to join the production after favoring two scenes he had to read for from the script. The seat adjustment scene in the car, which we'll get to, and the F word tirade at the car rental desk. That's the two that he thought why he should do this movie. And that scene, I was sitting there going, this lady's just looking at it, and he's like, well, I don't have the paper.
Yeah, that's where he messed up.
Yeah, and then
she's like, do you have the ticket?
The return, whatever it was.
And then he's like, I threw it away.
And she's like, then you're... yeah. I was just like, wow.
It right back at him.
Yeah. So now you see him, and he's just like... And is this where John Candy pulls up with the car?
No. This is where first he gets in an altercation with
no. The guy,
parking attendant,
yeah,
cabbie attendant,
yeah. And then then he goes off on him. I forgot what he says to him, but more words are exchanged.
And he punches him right in the face.
He punches him right in the face.
And he's like, yeah. And then that car's like, and it's John Candy. He's like, gets out. He's like, Neil, you okay? And he's like. You, sir, need to apologize to him. He's like, I could have killed him.
Yeah, he's like, all right, I'll help him.
Yeah,
and then he
grabs him
by the junk and drags him. And then that's
and I think the funniest thing is, right after that scene, Steve Martin is talking in that high pitched voice for
that was hilarious.
3 scenes long. He's like, hey guy.
He's like, man, I've never seen a man get dragged by his balls before.
It's such a funny movie. So, let's see. I think that page is done.
And then that car ride, that whole car ride.
This car
Not
ride.
like the seated,
The mess around scene when he's singing to Ray Charles.
Right.
That is just awesome.
Well, Steve Martin's trying to get some sleep.
Well,
right?
I like when before that is when they're talking about like what bothers Dell. No, I'm sorry. What? Oh, who was trying to explain? That's what it was. Neil was asking Dell. He's like, "Well, what about me bothers you?" And he's like, "Well, you play with your balls a lot."
He's like, "What do you mean?"
He's like, you're always just playing with your nuts.
So you got John Candy driving. Steve Martin is trying to sleep, and he's over there singing and all that, right? And so then you see him switch places, and John Candy just can't get that seat right. He's like,
Oh yeah.
he's like going forward,
broken
backwards. He's like, well, I hurt my back if I don't sleep right. And then he starts taking off his shoes again, and I'm like, oh no, we're
When he
not.
finally gets comfortable, and then you just hear. He's like,
So then they switch back, and he's like, "You broke the seat." And so he's just like driving. It's like he's like up against the windshield, and it's like and just the whole scene is comedy. If you haven't seen it, it's comedy gold right there.
It's a great scene.
So now John Candy was smoking, remember,
Yeah.
and he flicks it out the window. He thought it lands in the back seat.
Yeah.
so something bad's gonna happen there. You already
The
know.
whole time you're like, oh man, it's getting.
And what's he doing? Is he trying to unloose his seatbelt or something? And he's steering with his legs.
Just
Gets his jacket caught.
Yeah,
gets
he's
his
trying
jacket
to. He's driving with his knees on the steering wheel. He's like, and he's like, and he pulls that thing, and he starts spinning, and they end up on this exit ramp, and turn backwards. He's like, he's like, well, is everything good? Like, yeah. He's like, man, it sure is hot in here. You should take your jacket off or whatever. He's like, yeah, I think I'll do that. So he takes it off, and then he goes right back down on the ramp he came off of.
Yep.
So now he's going the wrong way on the interstate.
This scene's great.
And
Oh, this is the best.
yes, and so he's
You're going the wrong.
yeah, you're going the way. He's like,
How do they know where we're going?
Yeah, he's like, how do they know we're going? He's like, you're going to kill someone.
You're drunk.
Yeah.
And then I just like John Candy just making the motion.
Yeah, he's like,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
and then Steve Martin rolls down his window and he's like, you're going the wrong way. He's like, yeah, he looks out, he sees the snow on the ground, but then you see those two semis coming out of him in the headlights.
Well, he looks at the road and he realizes, he's like, wait a minute. And then, that's
Yeah.
when they see the semis.
And they just start both like, and this is funny too, because when they go right between those, you see them like, and then they can show their skeletons, remember? Like,
The skeletons, and then it shows John Candy dressed up as like some cartoonish devil.
the devil, yeah. Oh, man. And then it shows their skeletons as they're going through, and then they end up spinning out, or they get turned back around or whatever. And I think because Steve Martin had put his wallet into the glove compartment.
He's like,
remember?
remind me my
wallet's in here.
glove compartment.
So somehow didn't his trunk get thrown out of the car?
Yeah,
when they spun out.
When they spun
luggage
out
gets just
after the semi
jettisoned from the
right.
car.
So this car's been scraped and everything on both sides, and
And then he's like, "Oh, it's not that bad. It'll buff right out.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
not bad at all."
so there's cars coming, and John Candy's trying to move that chest out of the way. So Steve Martin's like, So he goes over there and pulls it out of the way with him, and they sit down, and he goes, well, it's like, it really couldn't get any worse.
you just hear in the background,
the car starts to explode on fire. So he's like, well, don't worry, I'll pay for us to get whatever, And I'm thinking, your wallet's in the car. And this is where he...
that's when he finds out he used his
he
card.
used
He's
his
like,
card.
Wait a minute, how did you...
You stole
rent
my
a
card.
And he's like, oh,
I charged
I
it.
gave him some... well, first he goes, I gave him some shower rings. And he's like, well, I mean, they wouldn't let you rent a car just off shower rings. And that's when he reveals that he used his card. And he's like, I was going to pay you back and give you interest.
But then he realizes he has his card. And he's like, I didn't steal it. So I think this goes back to where they switched him.
Yeah, well, and then you find out he put it back in his wallet when
they stopped to get gas.
he
Right.
stopped to get gas.
Yeah.
So it's in the car.
So now they put it. Is this where they put it all the stuff back in the car, and they're driving it, and this
Yeah.
thing is charred, burnt, beat. And is this where the cop pulls them over? Or do they
That's
get
where the cop
no? They
pulls
get to the
them
hotel
over.
first. Remember, they get to the
It's-
hotel
oh,
because
yeah, 'cause that's
and he's
right.
like, "How are you going to pay for this?" He's like, "Do you want Visa? Do you want Mastercard?" And they're just charged crisp,
bits of
like this
credit card.
He's like, "Well, I've got 75 cents or whatever in this watch."
Yeah, he had no, it was like $75 and a really nice watch.
Right. So he gets.
I'm
a
sorry,
room.
no, it wasn't 70. It was $30 and a really nice watch. It was
Something like some low
small
money
amount of money,
and
but
that
a
nice,
really
watch.
nice watch.
So he gets a room. Steve Martin gets a room, and then John Candy's like, "Well, what do you got?" He's like, "Well, I got
15 cents
yeah.
and a
Casio.
Casio. That's and a Casio.
And he drapes it over his arm.
yeah, like you know how you go to the fine jewelers.
Yeah.
So then you see him talking to himself. He's like, "Oh, I really messed up now."
Yeah, he's outside
talking to
in
his
the car.
wife. I think he's talking to Millie. I want to say Millie, but I don't think that was her name. I can't remember her name. He's
So he's sitting out in the cold.
Yeah,
he's all bundled up.
He's like, "I really messed up now," and Steve Martin, because there's 2 beds in that room,
Yeah, 2 separate beds.
right? And Steve Martin's, looking around, and I forget what he does. He goes, "It's starting to snow," and
Yeah.
John Candy's out there like,
So Neil tries to call his wife, and she I think
they're
she's
at
asleep
they're at his daughter's recital or thing, right?
I thought that was earlier.
Or was it earlier?
No,
Oh, yeah.
that was way earlier because it's nighttime now, and so he tries to call his wife, and I think she's already asleep, and so he's just kind of like thinking, sitting there, and then he looks over at the window, and that's when he sees Dell, sitting in the car, and then this ruminates for a while Dell's presumably talking to his wife, who we don't know was dead at the time.
Spoiler alert.
Oh, you already said it. All right, so that's when once again you show that Neil does have a bit of a heart.
Right.
He opens the door.
And what's he say? He says something crazy.
I don't remember. I thought he just like, why don't you come on in or whatever.
Yeah.
You're gonna freeze to death.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
He says something catchy, and then he's like, so they get in, and I don't remember much. Oh yeah, that's where they're sitting
That's
there,
where
and
they
they're eating like Doritos or whatever. You know what I mean?
It's just chips everywhere.
Yeah.
He's like, where do you want to go? And he's like, I'm gonna go to Jamaica.
Yeah, and that's a play on the Cool Runnings that he did later on.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty cool. So now they're leaving this hotel, man. They're like stuck in the snow.
Yeah.
And John Candy's like,
We're gonna
rocket, get out,
Yeah.
gotta rocket. And he's like, oh, it was in reverse. And he goes through the window or whatever, of the hotel, the whole wall. And then Steve Martin's looking around.
Get in, push it.
Go. So they take off. So now they're going. He's like, a cop clocks him. Ding! And he's like,
I think we skipped one of the funniest scenes. Well, we did skip one of the most funniest.
Which
scenes.
one's that?
The one where they riding in the back of a truck.
That's not yet. That's after the cop takes the car.
Is it?
car
gets
impounded.
Yeah, because they take off in that car.
Mixed up.
That cop clocks him, and Steve Martin asks him. He goes, "Do you know how fast you're going?" He's like, "I don't know. The speedometer melted." So they pull him over, and what they tell him, he's like, "Hey, I'm just trying to get my friend here home for Thanksgiving, officer. You can let us go."
The list. He's like, I noticed there's no rear view windows or anything. He's like, does anything work? And he's like, well, sure enough, the radio works. Isn't that funny? Works clear as day. Don't know how that happened.
And I think this is where he takes him to jail, right? Downtown, doesn't it show him?
No, they impound.
I know they take the car, but I think they take
them.
him. Don't they take him down to the county square or whatever?
Yeah.
And this is where,
They do have a scene of that.
right? And I think this is where they get the ride on the back of the hell truck, the Hell Bay or whatever.
It's I forgot whose it was. He was like, oh, it's his son.
Yeah.
And then that's when he pulls up in the truck. He's like, oh, I hope that's not him. And then he comes up and he's like, are you so-and-so's son? And he's like, you the shower curtain guy?
Yeah, and this is where he goes. This is where he goes. Oh, leave your luggage. She said she'll get in. His wife gets out or whatever. He's like, it's okay. She gave birth sideways.
She's like, yeah. She's like, she's tiny, but she's strong. She gave
He's
birth
like, no, we got
sideways.
it. So
And then there's that long scene of just him making noises, just
yeah. Oh man. And this is where they're in the back, and there's the hay, and then Steve Martin reaches down. Is it to get his glove?
No, it was just a pair of gloves because he was really cold. So he went to grab the
Because he left his gloves at the beginning of the movie. He left his gloves.
Yep.
Remember, he's like, just send them to my house.
Yeah.
I'll get them for me tomorrow, whatever. And then is it a dog that
that pops out of
So he's
nowhere
like,
from the hay and starts barking at him.
So this takes him to where?
And then
Actually, I think that scene happened earlier because Owen
That's
was
what
the
I
guy, the son, who was taking him to the train station originally from the first hotel.
I just love the scene that follows where they're all frozen in the back of the truck,
Yeah,
including the dog.
It's all gold, like you said.
Yeah, like I said, we're probably getting stuff mixed up, but you know what? It's still a good movie.
Yeah, it's excellent.
So now that they've impounded the car, where do we go from here?
Dale comes in contact because Dale has
the many
the
connections.
great salesman. He's always meeting people, and somehow he talks to a semi truck driver.
That's
and
right,
The
yeah.
semi truck driver agrees to drive them the rest of the way to Chicago but there's
he doesn't
a
like
catch.
people-
Yeah, he's like, but the funny thing is, he's like, he hops out of the front seat. And he's like, they don't like him they're pretty suspicious about riding in the front seat. They don't trust everybody or whatever. He's like, well, where are we riding? It's in the back of the frozen, what is it?
Truck,
Frozen
yeah.
Milk truck, I think, or something.
So they finally get to where they're going, Chicago. They get to the train station. And this is where it starts getting touching because, they say their goodbyes. He's like, hey,
this is where the comedy ends, pretty much.
But yeah,
It's
pretty much
all
for the rest of the
real
movie.
from here.
Because he's like, is this your train? Your L train or whatever coming in? And Steve Martin's like, yeah, that's mine. So he gets, basically they say their goodbyes and you see Neil or Del grab his thing, his trunk, and start walking away. And Steve Martin's sitting there and he starts thinking, oh, his wife. He sees his kid smiling. He sees the turkey in his mouth. His mouth watering, right?
Thanksgiving and stuff.
And then he starts flashing to
the fun
times and the crazy stuff that he had with John Candy. And he, you just see him like,
and then you can see him putting like two and two together. Like, where's he going?
Right?
Like, is he going anywhere? 'Cause he's thinking of all the things he said. Like, I haven't been home in
right.
years.
And remember, he said something like, I have been working too much because he tells him, he's like, well, I don't work all the time like you do. You know what I mean? And so Steve Martin ends up going back to the train station and he walks in and he's like, what are you doing here? He said, I don't have anywhere to go, And he said, my wife's been dead for 8 years. And man, I'm just sitting here like, oh man, this is, just, and he's like, well, he's like, come on, you're going to come home, meet my family or whatever. And he's like, your wife won't mind. He's like, nah, she won't mind, So they end up going home and you see him walking into the house. And he's like, I want you to meet a friend of mine. And I thought that was always awesome how it ended. He's like, this is my friend. He may be crazy, but this is my friend. And I think it took him all through all that whole roller coaster of a ride to make him his friend.
Yep.
And, he's like, well, hello, Del, or whatever, Nil, whichever one it is, and it ends with John Candy with that look on his face, where he's finally found, I don't want to say relief, but I think he's finally come to realize that it's going to be okay that my wife's gone. I still have a friend now. You know what I mean? If that makes sense.
Because when you hear him talking before, when he's talking to his wife in the car, he's all like, I know I'm not the easiest to get along with, and like this and that, which is kind of almost sort of alluding to the fact that no one's really hung around him long enough. Like, he's a great salesman, but as far as like hanging around him like friends or not sure about family, they really don't get into that. But as far as friends go, you kind of just assume he doesn't have any.
Right. So that pretty much ends the movie, except we'll get to it. There's an end scene. If you did not stay around, because I just showed Eric this because he didn't know there was an end scene. This is like one of the earliest end scenes that there was. Let me go ahead and I'm going to run over through some of these notes that I may have skipped over. When Del Griffith, John Candy, clears his sinuses in the motel room, his nose is whistling sounds out of the final course to shave and a haircut, 2 bits or whatever. I thought that was funny. Let's see. There was something else. Roger Ebert loved this movie, and they said it's one on his best films list, and that he would watch it every Christmas. That's the one I want to save for the last. Neil's house, Steve Martin's house, was also a set that was built from scratch, consisting of 7 rooms and taking 5 months to complete. It ended up costing $100,000, which angered Paramount executives and caused turmoil on the set. But it was also later used in Home Alone in 1990. So
you guys should have heard how excited Jimbo was. So before we started podcasting,
before
we were all conversing and talking and just having a good time. And Jimbo out of nowhere goes, by the way, I think the house in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is the same house in Home Alone.
And they're like,
and then we're sitting down, we're about to record.
I'm going through my notes,
and then he's going through the notes, and he just slams the table. He's like, "Ha! I knew it!
I did know it. I didn't know it though. I called it.
It's good that they use it for another movie because
I was just
the house only appears in the movie for like a minute and a half, maybe.
The exterior of the rental car that they had, that John Candy had. It was designed to resemble that of the Griswold's family station wagon from A Christmas Vacation, which John Hughes was already produced that too. The scenes at night on the highway were filmed in Central California. Fake snow was applied to the roads. The scenes shot at Lambert Airport in St. Louis were shot during winter,
but the weather was uncharacteristically warm, mid 80 degrees, so all the snow in the scene had to be trucked in. So a lot of the snow had to be trucked in from places. Let's see here. Yeah, this movie was originally going to be 3 hours and 45 minutes long. That's crazy.
I don't know what the deleted scenes.
I don't know, but I bet it's like watching a whole nother movie.
I bet.
And I wish, you could find some of that stuff. Like, I would love to see the cut footage from those, especially from somebody like John Candy that's no longer with us. I think it would just be perfect.
I think that's what is really cool what the DVD era brought in. Is all the special features. In some older movies, they do still have that stuff where they show those deleted scenes. They'll have the director's commentary sometimes with some of the actors, and you get sort of an inside take of how it was filming the movie and how they felt. And sometimes, like some of my favorite director commentaries are just where they're sitting down with the actors and they're just having fun and they're just kind of like laughing about moments they had on set and things like that. I feel like you'd have a lot with this.
I would like to see a director's cut of this because everything that he wanted to put in there didn't make it into the film. If you look at, I think, Superman 2, and then you have Superman 2, the Richard Donner cut.
Yeah.
Completely different movie. I mean, if you've seen that.
I didn't see the cut version.
Man. Yeah. You need to see the Donner cut.
That's what I'm saying. I saw the Donner cut. I didn't see what it was originally.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's typically what happens.
John Candy uses the same line in two movies. I know it's not pretty to look at, but it'll get you where you want to go. He says that about the car to the police officer. He also says in Cool Runnings in 1993, I know it's not much to look at. He says that when revealing the team's bobsledding, the team's bobsled for the first time.
Yep.
Let's see. Like I said, there's an end credit scene where Neil's boss is still standing there looking at them pictures, and you can see he's missed Thanksgiving because his turkey and everything is sitting there. And you think he's going to make a decision, and no, he's still doing it, even after the scenes are done.
1, 2.
And I'll in the notes section on this. I thought this would be fitting. Steve Martin talked in an interview about his late co-star John Candy and his similarities with the character of Dell. Well, he was a very sweet guy, very sweet and complicated. And so he was always friendly, always outgoing, and, funny and nice and polite. But I could tell he had kind of a little broken heart inside of him. Mm-hmm. So I think it's nice to see that he put some of his real-life character into the character that he created. Yeah, right. So, Eric, why don't you start us? What do you think about planes, trains, and automobiles?
It was a classic, one that I watch frequently. It's interesting. There's really, I get to thinking, there's not really any other movie that's kind of centered around Thanksgiving.
Right.
I mean, there are some lesser known ones. I looked at a list one time. I can't even think of any, honestly.
Yeah. It is one of the few, yeah.
But I mean, yeah, it's
maybe Chicken Run.
Right. It might be. It's just it's centered around Thanksgiving, the holiday. I thought that was interesting. But yeah, it's got to be top. In my top of the charts as far as comedies go. It's lots of classic lines, bits. Those, comedy gold, like you said earlier.
Gold. Those are probably two of the greatest comedians of all time right now. You know what I mean? Terrence?
I mean, without repeating what he's already said, because a lot of my thoughts are the same, it's a hilarious movie. If you like comedies, definitely check it out, especially like older comedies. Like this is just one of the big hit older comedies of the 80s. Late 80s. If you like Steve Martin or John Candy, and for some reason you haven't seen this, it's a must watch. Yeah. And if you're not familiar with Steve Martin and John Candy, it's a great place to start. And then go and watch some films that they did separately.
Well, which we said a lot of them at the beginning of this.
Exactly, which you can just take that list and watch all those movies because they're all great.
Like I said, it's been a long time since I've seen this. I watched it twice this week because this weekend, as a matter of fact, and I was like, I hadn't had a good hearty laugh like that when they were in the bed in a long time when he said his hand was in between two pillows. I just busted up. And I just think it goes to show you how great of an actor John Candy was.
Yeah.
I think he makes this movie. But I also think it tells a moral story. Just because somebody is over the top, maybe annoying to you, maybe you get annoyed easily, don't take it the wrong way, because a lot of us are quick to overreact. There may be something deeper that you don't know about that's going on where you could be the difference in that person's life.
Yeah,
for sure.
Well, I think that is a good place to end. Happy Thanksgiving from the Tragedy of Cinema podcast. Hope you and your family have a great day today.
Happy Turkey Day.
Not really sure what our next episode will be, but be on the lookout for a special announcement coming soon. We need to get that recorded and maybe drop that Black Friday.
Yeah.
So I think that's a wrap on this episode.
Well, we want to thank our guest. Eric,
No,
for
he's
coming
still
out.
going to be here. No.
Well, I appreciate
We don't have to.
having me.
We don't have to thank you.
to
We
referee.
Yeah. Well, when the millennial gets out of hand, he's sometimes hard to handle. I need somebody to keep him awake, smack him. So yeah, you're welcome back anytime. I know we're getting ready to sit down and record something special with our special announcement with Eric. So
One of my favorite movies of all time.
yes, so we don't want to give anything away yet. We'll drop that probably Black Friday. Any other last words?
Shoot, if you're not already on it, join our Facebook group. We just had an amazing.
Well, yeah, I started off the the Facebook group was kind of quiet, so I was like, let me just throw this out there. I was like, do you consider Die Hard and Gremlins Christmas movies? And I put a poll up, yes or no. And I was the first one. I said no. And I said just because there's set at Christmas time, and it just opened the floodgates, and people just started
There
going
are
nuts.
so
They
many
are still
comments.
arguing about that right
If
now.
you would like to join the fray, join us
At
the
the
Tragedy of Cinema
podcast
group on Facebook. Also, we have a Patreon, and what are we on? Are the social media like? Do we?
I do have Twitter. I have
Instagram.
Instagram. I have it all. So you can find us. Just search The Tragedy of Cinema. If you would like to be a guest on the show,
Let us know.
let us know. I know I have a couple people. Another person coming on from Australia. I know I have another person here in town that's going to be doing one. I know somebody else. I think he's in Texas or Arkansas. I don't know. He moves around a lot, so he's going to be coming on. So we got some cool stuff being planned, and fingers crossed, we might be having merch soon.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
So I don't have the details yet. I'm still working on getting the final stuff, but I'm thinking there's going to be sweatshirts, hats, T-shirts.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Water bottles, maybe watches. I don't know. But
It's a Casio.
You can see that. So as soon as I have that information, I'll put it on the social media, and then we'll announce it on here. We'll give you the web address or whatever. So.
And then one last note, be sure to leave feedback, whether it be positive or negative. But
Hopefully positive.
But 5-star anyway, whether it be positive or negative, on Apple.
You can give us a
iTunes.
5-star, but just say it's a 5 stars. If you want.
Exactly. And so leaving comments, helps more people find this podcast and stuff like that. So definitely leave a comment on iTunes. And if you just want to send us feedback anonymously, then or not have it in the comments section, you can always send us an email at thetragedyofcinema@gmail.com.
Yes.
We also check those all the time, and we also love reading any feedback that you guys send us. It's
Right,
always
and
really
if you're
cool.
a podcaster and you would like to
Collaborate.
do a promo swap,
Yep.
Send it to me. I know ours just got played on According to an Idiot. I think that's the name of it. I had the email this morning. Because I played theirs a couple episodes ago.
Yeah.
They finally said, hey, we'll put yours on ours this week. So I think there are a couple of college people, and they got classes going on right now. So I said, fine. Also, what was the thing I was going to say? Oh, I was going to say, I just want to say thanks to all our new listeners. The downloads have just went through the roof. We do appreciate it.
We have a new number 1.
We don't. No more.
It
got dethroned again.
Okay, for a small amount of time, we
Right.
had a new number 1.
So our number 1 episode we've ever done has always been The Wizard of Oz, which just was our first one, because people listen to that and be like, it's not for me, or it's for me. But this past week, I told Terrence, we got a new number 1 show, most downloaded show. And he's like, well, what is it? And you guys aren't going to believe what it is. Eric, would you like to take a guess of what it is? The number 1 show that we have done.
Forrest Gump?
Nope.
No?
You would think.
That's what I was
not.
thinking. No. Star Trek First Contact.
Yep.
Really?
Is now number 2
Number
now.
2.
But I was like, wow. Out of all the
is
movies
Wizard
we've
of
done,
Oz
so
back on number 1.
Wizard of Oz is back
And
at
then
number
a
1.
solid number 3. That's always just been like at number 3 is
Psycho. Psycho stays there. Because that was where we first introduced putting the trailers into the movies.
Yeah.
So I like that. And you start off with Alfred Hitchcock going, what do we have here is the scene of a murder. But we're taking up enough time of this. We got some other stuff we got to do. So I think that's a wrap on this episode.
And cut.
Cut.